Trauma. What a wild thing it is. For those of you who know me, you will know that I am very comfortable talking about trauma, whether it is my experience or other people's experiences, or simply talking about what it is, what it can be, and what happens afterwards. I believe everyone in this world experiences trauma. Everybody, to a degree, but not everyone will identify or acknowledge that. And we are starting to remove the stigma around the word trauma, but we still have a long way to go. Sometimes people will downplay what they've experienced and compare it to someone else. Sometimes they lack the self-awareness and don't realize the impact that it has on them. Sometimes they just put their head in the sand and pretend that it hasn't happened. No matter what the reason, it doesn't matter, right? We are all walking our own path. I put my head in the sand for a good 15 years before I allowed myself to acknowledge what had happened to me. And this is the path that I'm on. And the path that you are on and the path that everybody else is on is going to be very different. What does matter though, and something I think is missed, is the ripple effect of trauma. Too often, we try to isolate our trauma as an individual incident. We look at it as something that has happened and something that needs to be addressed, and that's it. So it's kind of like, okay, this event happened, that's my trauma, and here's the rest of me. Sorry to burst your bubble. Trauma runs so much deeper than that. Yes, you ultimately experience trauma as a result of a or multiple incidents or situations, and that is what you have the emotional responses to. But it doesn't stop there. And sometimes we feel like there is something wrong with us, or we make ourselves wrong because we don't understand this part. And to ensure that you don't think that there is something wrong with you, I really want to break it down. I really want to break it down. When you experience trauma, it can impact every single area of your life. The way you feel, the way you view things, your beliefs, and what you think you know to be true or what is true, the way you look and feel about yourself, your relationships, your confidence, the way you show up, the way you connect or disconnect with yourself and others. And as I said, like, there are so many others, right? But as you can see from this very quick synopsis, trauma can impact every single area of your life. These are all ripples, ripples that are now running through your internal world and your nervous system that, in order to shift, change, or accept, need to be acknowledged. Let me give you an example to make it real because I'm very much about making these situations real. Let's say you experience domestic violence. You're in a relationship that has violence, and whether it's physical, emotional, mental, it doesn't matter. Okay. Any type of violence, because there are so many different types, and I don't want to give an example. And if this is you, you think that, oh no, that's not me because that's not what happened. So you're in a violent relationship, violence of some kind. You finally build up the courage to leave, which takes a long time. And you know that it has taken a lot of attempts to leave because you question whether you'll ever find someone else. You will question what you'll do without them. This is a result of your trauma. This is a ripple of your trauma. Now you're single and you find yourself being really nasty to yourself. If you dress up to go out, you tell yourself that you're ugly or you can't wear that, or, what a slut. This is a result of your trauma. This is a ripple based on what you have experienced. When you're around family, you feel quiet and timid and unsure of what to say because you carry so much shame about what you've been through and you don't think they'll understand. This is a result of your trauma. This is a ripple of your trauma. You don't eat well or look after yourself properly because you lack energy, confidence, and purpose. This is a result of your trauma, a ripple. You're sad, you're mad, you spend most of your time wondering why the fuck you were with them for so long and what the fuck were you doing? This is a result of your trauma. Someone flirts with you or gives you a compliment and you quickly dismiss it or reject them because you don't believe it and you think, they're clearly after something. This is a result of your trauma. This is a ripple of your trauma. I could literally, talk about this for an hour and continue giving you examples. I'm not going to, but I hope you can see where I'm going with this, right? All of the ways that you doubt yourself or the ways that you question yourself in that situation is because of what you've been through. Maybe you were bullied at school. So now you're a people pleaser, or you wear masks to fit in. You try not to get or be noticed. You have no confidence. You don't believe you're worthy of joy or happiness. You put yourself down and you have limiting beliefs that control you. You function from the lowest vibration and version of yourself. This is all a result of your trauma. These are all ripple effects of your trauma. Do you see what I mean? It's not just that you were a victim or a survivor of domestic violence or bullying, and you just have to heal and release the person that did it or the situation. Yes, you have to do that. You have to work through, release, heal the situation, but you're also going to be required to dive deeper and untangle the ripples. And when you've done your primary healing, and fuck, I feel like you're going to hate me for this. You now have a life where every time you push yourself outside of your comfort zone, you're likely going to experience something that you have to navigate, something that you have to work through that other people don't. When you experience trauma, you are going to have to navigate certain things, certain self-doubt that people that haven't experienced trauma won't have to work through. So, yes, you might doubt yourself. You might question yourself. You might wear masks. Not in the same way you did initially, because you're past that, right? The ripples are now softer. It's less controlling and obvious. It's less frequent, but it's still there. We are cyclical beings. And as I said, every time we step out of our comfort zone, every time we expand, something will come up. It does for me too. And I've been doing this for what feels like forever, right? I coach people through this, but that doesn't mean that it doesn't apply to me. Now you understand how the ripples filter through your life. You're then able to move away from trying to be fixed, in air quotes, or done or complete, and accept that throughout your life, your experiences will create ripples for you. There is nothing wrong with you. There never was. It's just that your experiences have led you to believe that you don't deserve what you truly want. But now that you know this, you have the ability to do whatever the fuck you want. And that is amazing. I honestly, and I'm not sure if everyone will agree with me on this one. I don't care. But honestly, I believe that trauma and working through the ripples that it forms in your life truly creates the best, most inspiring, magnetic people because it gives you depth, resilience, compassion, empathy, strength, softness, and so much more. It gives you so much. So if you're sitting there wondering when you'll be done, or what's wrong with you, or why is this still a thing, maybe it's time to stop trying to control your life and get to the end, get to the point where you just don't have to do this work anymore because you have a lot of life left. And rather than wishing your life away or constantly chasing the end goal, why don't you start embracing every day and being truly present? Because if I'm honest, I don't even know if there is an end goal. Maybe there is, but when you get to your end goal, there should be another one because how boring would life be if you're like, right, this is my end goal. By the age of 40, I've made it. What do you do for the next 40, 50, 60 years of your life? You know? And I understand that healing can be tiring and exhausting and frustrating, but it is required. It is so required. Your ripples form part of your identity, and you can mold and shape them in whatever way you choose. But you have to do that. You have to make that choice. You have to choose you and take ownership of your life rather than letting the ripples own you. Again, your ripples can either hold you back or you can use them as fuel to propel yourself forward. I know which one I choose, and I hope you do too, because life, your life, is so much more important than getting bogged down in patterns of doubt or stuckness when you could be navigating that and leaning into a life that feels really, really good. And if you want support with that, if you are like, okay, I'm ready for this, I want to figure out what my ripples are and heal them, release them, work through them so they're not controlling. Or maybe, as I said, you're not even at the point where they're controlling anymore. It's just they're really annoying. You know that you're stuck in this cycle and you're ready to break free of that. Let me know. The link to book a discovery call is in the notes below. I have some availabilities for one-on-one, and I also have my incredible 6-month program, which will, the next round will kick off in March next year. But if you want support, let me know. I am here to help.